Chapter 3. Twins. 5 years before. Bright aspens and dull green pines swayed in the gentle breeze that swept the quiet hillside. Here on the far edge of the property there was little to hear. The village could be noisy and loud, with villagers bustling to and fro, but the easternmost border of their land was a secluded, forested area. Tall pine trees reached high into the sky, mixed among numerous deciduous trees, all competing with leaves and needles for the precious sunlight that fell sharply across them in the afternoon sun. Ferron found himself halfway up the tallest of the pines, climbing as high as he could. He had climbed the tree many times before, but never to the top. The height scared him at a certain point, but this time he was determined. Ferron pulled himself up from one limb to another, slowly moving higher and higher. He stopped at a specific branch, just out of hand's reach. This had always been as far as he could go. To get to the limb above, he would have to jump, and there was no guarantee he would land back on his perch should he miss. He rubbed his hands on his pants, one at a time. They were sweaty and covered in tree sap, small bits of bark sticking to his palm. "You're just going to have to do it," a voice called from above. He grunted. I know, just give me a minute." The girl higher in the branches furrowed her brow. "That's what you said last time, and the time before that. I think you've had long enough. Jump." Ferron frowned. "But how will I get back down?" "The slow way, hopefully. If that doesn't work, you can always take the fast way." Ferron's discomfort grew. "You aren't helping." The girl laughed. "Oh, I'm sorry. I suppose you'd like me to lower my foot?" She stuck a leg toward him, an acquiescent look on her face. Ferron looked up and frowned. "I don't think I trust you." She feigned an offended look and withdrew her foot. "Fine, then you'll just have to jump." Ferron let go of his supporting branch and shifted his weight underneath him, slowly rising to his feet. He paused for a moment, catching his balance on the long, thick branch. Looking down brought a sense of vertigo. "Don't look down!" the girl yelled. Ferron wavered, but caught his balance, looking just at the trunk in front of him. "How do you do this?" he called. "Just don't think about it." "I might die." "That's exactly what I mean by don't think about it," she huffed. "You'll be fine. Just go." Ferron took a slow breath to steady his nerves. "Okay," he said to himself. "Okay." He looked up and, with a surge of fear, jumped to the branch above. For a small moment, he was weightless in the sky, nothing below him, and then he seized the limb, holding on with both hands. Good! Now stop dangling there and pull yourself up." Ferron hyperventilated through clenched teeth as his fingers gripped the wood like talons. He pulled and hoisted himself up onto the tree limb, feeling his arms shake. The branch shook too, dropping needles which slowly spiraled toward the ground easily 50 feet below. He paused for breath. It was higher than he had ever climbed. He looked down again and felt dizzy. He planted his back against the trunk and stayed there, catching his breath. After a moment, the girl called again. "Well, are you going to just stay there?" She had already climbed higher. Without a word, Ferron got back on his feet and reached for the next limb, much easier to reach this time. The next 4 branches all grew in a large spiral shape around the trunk, and Ferron climbed it like a ladder with renewed confidence. After that, he turned and moved to a single thick limb. He found himself immediately below his sister, who sat comfortably in a large split in the trunk. Making an effort to keep his eyes up, Ferron sat on the branch. "All right, Hadria. I did your mad climb. Now tell me why you made me do this." With a grin, she stood, revealing a set of boards nailed into the split trunk on her left. Ferron's eyebrows rose, and a smile touched his lips. "So this is why you've been spending so much time alone. And where Father's mallet went." She smiled. "I was going to give it back." She turned and climbed up her makeshift ladder. "Wherever it is." Ferron shook his head and groaned. "Where did you get nails?" he asked, incredulous. "And boards? And why didn't you nail them all the way down?" She ignored him and kept climbing. He groaned again and put a tentative hand on the makeshift ladder. Each board had 2 or 3 nails in it to keep it from spinning on the trunk or wobbling too much, so he deemed it safe. "Just don't look down," he whispered. After a few rungs, the boards began to wind around as well as up the trunk, and Ferran swallowed, ignoring his fear and continuing the climb. If his sister could do it, he could do it. It was a comfortable lie. A few feet farther, Ferran found himself under several large planks, all nailed together into the tree, except for a small hole where the trunk and ladder passed through. He pulled himself up and fell onto the boards with a heave. He laughed, relieved to be on something solid and giddy because of the thrill of the height. "This is what you've been working on?" "Yep. Do you like it?" "Oh, sure, you were making excuses to read that book of yours. How on earth did you do this?" "Having still some nails for me, and some old boards when I asked. Father's missing hammer and saw helped a lot, too." Ferran lay on his back, panting. "The carpenter's son? Why would he do that?" "Because," Hadria said, "I'm both beautiful and charming." "Father will be angry when he finds out," he warned. "He's been looking for that hammer for days now." She beamed and smiled. "Just the hammer? I guess that means I can keep the saw for a while longer." Ferran furrowed his brow. "Why not just ask? Or better, have him help you. And why couldn't I help you?" "Because," she stated, "I wanted this to be ours. It's our secret, and I wanted to surprise you." Ferran grinned. "Well, I'm surprised. You're the best." She laughed. "It feels good, doesn't it? You and I are the only people in the world who know about it." Ferran returned her good humor. He looked up from the boards and realized just how large the platform was. The boards surrounded both trunks of the pine and were nearly 7 feet long by 4 feet wide. He took in his surroundings and gasped. To the north and east, massive green hills rolled into the sharp-peaked Theradran Mountains, with a carpet of pines, oaks, maples, and aspens. Pink-flowered rhododendrons sprinkled the hillsides, adding elegance to the imposing mountains. To the south and west lay large, empty meadows, with forests dominating the landscape, all of it tucked into green, rolling hills. Ferran could see a few areas where the trees fell away, forming a deep ravine where rivers and streams gouged scars into the earth. The view was breathtaking. Summer was in full force, and the land was so green it almost hurt the eyes to look at. Ferran noticed that Hadria had cleared away all the branches around both trunks, opening up the view spectacularly. Only the tops of the tallest pines blocked their vision. "Hadria, look!" Ferran shouted, pointing to the south. "You can see the snow wall from here." Hadria looked at where he was pointing, but couldn't see it. "Where?" "Just at the end of that meadow. You see the clearing down there? It's at the end of that. It's only a small piece." She squinted and shaded her eyes from the sun. "I think I see it, but it might just be a rock." "It's not a rock," he stated. "It's brown." Hadria looked doubtful. "If you say so." She turned to the northwest. "Look over here. You can see the village." Ferran nodded. "I know." Hadria laughed and sat down on the platform, her back against the trunk. Ferran remained standing, drinking in the view. "This is incredible. How did you do it?" Hadria shrugged. "It wasn't hard. I nailed a few boards to each side and balanced the others on top. Just had to get it even is all." "I'm not sure how you did this without killing yourself." Hadria laughed. "You'd be surprised what I could do." Ferran raised an eyebrow. "I doubt it. I spend nearly all day every day with you." "Yes, that's true." She grinned mischievously. "But you forget how much older and how very much wiser I am than you." "Older?" Ferran huffed. "We're the same age to the day." "Don't forget wiser," she chirped. "Oh, yes. Who could possibly compete with that?" "Exactly," she smiled. "Well, while you're feeling wise, why don't you tell me how to get back down?" "Wisdom is patient." "Oh, you're hopeless." Ferran sat next to her and folded his legs, content to enjoy the fantastic view. Several minutes passed before either one of them spoke, neither willing to break the silence, both enjoying the peace. Ferran was the first to speak when the quiet stretched long enough. and before they realized it, hours slipped away just enjoying each other's company. Eventually, Hadria looked up toward the Theradran Mountains. She pointed at one of the lower peaks. "Look at old Horathan. Do you see that tiny patch of yellow all the way up there?" Ferran nodded. "I see it. It's probably maples. Their leaves are usually the first to change. Fall is coming, and we'll have the best place to see it from. Well, we better enjoy it, because once winter comes, we won't get another chance until spring." "Why not? We're inside the wall. It should be perfectly safe." "Should be," he shrugged. "But still. Don't be such a worrywart. We'll have plenty of time to get used to the view." The sun was westering on the horizon, illuminating the Theradran Mountains in a fountain of golden light. The brilliant rays exaggerated the reds and yellows while subduing the grays and blues. The effect was beautiful, and they drank it in. "We need to go home." "But do we want to?" "No," Ferran said, putting his head on his sister's shoulder. "Never."